I can still hear the laughter, loud, sharp, the kind that cuts deeper than you'd expect from your own family. It was a humid July night, the kind where the air sticks to your skin, and we were crammed around my parents' dining room table in their tidy suburban split level. The ceiling fan whirred above, barely stirring the heat, as Mom passed around her famous potato salad. I was 28, sitting there with a glass of iced tea sweating in my hand, trying to explain my new gig. "It's vintage resale," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I buy old clothes from thrift stores, fix them up, and sell them online. People love it. Sustainable fashion's big now." My dad, Greg, snorted into his beer, his mustache twitching. "Vintage resale? You mean you're peddling other people's rags?" The table erupted. My older brother, Nate, slapped his knee, his finance bro laugh booming over the clatter of forks. My sister, Tara, smirked into her wine, and my cousin, Jake, nearly choked on a roll, tears streaming down his face. "Oh, Riley," Jake gasped, "you're telling me you're out there haggling for stained t-shirts and moth-eaten sweaters? That's gold." I forced a smile, sipping my tea, the ice clinking against the glass. "It's a business," I said. "There's a market for it." "A market?" Tara chimed in, her voice dripping with mock pity. "For ripped jeans and grandma's cardigans? Honey, that's not a business, that's a yard sale with Wi-Fi." More laughter, louder now, bouncing off the floral wallpaper. Mom shook her head, her earrings jingling. "Riley, sweetie, I thought you were joking when you quit that call center job. You've got a degree, why throw it away to play dress up with junk?" Dad leaned forward, his face serious but his eyes glinting with amusement. "Look, I've humored this entrepreneur phase, but this? It's embarrassing. You're out there digging through trash like some scavenger." I set my glass down, the condensation pooling on the tablecloth. "It's not trash," I said, calm but firm. "I source inventory, repair it, market it. Last month, I cleared $3,000. That shut them up, for about 2 seconds. Then Nate barked a laugh. $3,000? From old socks and busted zippers? Come on, Riley, you're delusional." Jake wiped his eyes. "What's next, selling used shoelaces on eBay?" The table roared again, and I sat there, smile plastered on, letting it wash over me. They didn't know. They didn't know I'd already outearned Nate's quarterly bonus, that my junk was piling up cash in a bank account they'd never see. I let them laugh, let them dig into me like it was a sport. Dad waved a hand, dismissing me. "You should have stuck with something stable, retail, maybe. Leave the big ideas to Nate. He's the one with the future." Nate grinned, leaning back in his chair, his polo shirt stretched tight over his gym-built chest. "Yeah, sis, I'm closing deals while you're stitching buttons. Stick to what you're good at." Tara nodded, swirling her wine. "Seriously, Riley, it's cute you're trying, but this isn't real. It's sad." I took a slow breath, the heat pressing in. "You'll see," I said, quiet enough they barely heard. They didn't need to. I'd show them soon enough. That night stuck with me, their voices looping in my head as I drove back to my cramped apartment. I'd started small, hitting thrift stores on weekends, snagging anything with potential, a faded denim jacket, a silk blouse with a loose hem, a pair of boots scuffed but salvageable. I'd clean them, mend them, photograph them against my bedroom wall, and list them on my site. It wasn't glamorous, my hands smelled like bleach, my floor was a mess of thread and pins, but it worked. People bought. Vintage was hot, and I was good at spotting what sold. By the time that dinner rolled around, I'd moved from my bedroom to a rented storage unit, shipping orders daily. They thought I was a joke, but I was building something real. Flashback to 16, I'm at that same table, a skinny kid with braces, telling Dad I wanted to design clothes someday. He'd laughed then too, a deep, dismissive chuckle. "Design? Riley, that's for dreamers. Nate's the one with the head for business, he'll run a company. You? Get a job, something simple. Let a man handle the rest." Mom nodded, patting my hand like I was a lost cause. Nate smirked, flipping through a car magazine, already the golden child. I'd sat there, fists balled under the table, vowing I'd prove them wrong. That vow burned hotter now, fueled by every cackle from that July night. I didn't say much after their jabs at dinner, just ate, smiled, and left. But as I pulled out of their driveway, I made a promise, I'd keep going, keep growing, until they couldn't laugh anymore. They didn't know I'd just signed a deal with a local boutique to sell my curated pieces, or that my online sales were doubling monthly. They didn't know I was saving for a bigger space, hiring a part-time assistant. They saw a scavenger, I saw a future. Months later, that future crashed into their perfect little world, and I was ready. It started with a call, Mom, her voice tight, asking me to come over. Not for a visit, not for an apology. We need to talk, she said, and I could hear the strain. I knew something was up. Dad's construction firm had been shaky, Nate's deals weren't panning out, and Tara's influencer gig was floundering. They were sinking, and I was the lifeline they'd mocked. I hung up, grinning to myself. The scavenger was about to become the savior, or maybe something else entirely. I'd find out soon enough, and they'd learn what my rags were really worth. The call from Mom lingered in my head for days, her voice thin and shaky, like she'd rehearsed it a dozen times. Riley, we need you to come over, she'd said, no warmth, just urgency. I didn't rush, let it simmer, let them sweat. By the time I pulled into their driveway a week later, the August heat had turned the air thick, the kind that makes you feel trapped. Their split level looked the same, neat lawn, faded shutters, but something was off. No hum of the AC, no flicker of TV light through the windows. I grabbed my purse, stepped out, and walked up the steps, ready for whatever they'd throw at me. Dad opened the door before I could knock, his face a mix of exhaustion and irritation. Riley, he grunted, stepping aside. Inside, the house was dim, stuffy, power must have been out. Mom sat at the dining table, hands clasped tight, Tara slumped beside her, scrolling her phone with a scowl. Nate wasn't there, typical. Jake hovered by the kitchen, awkward, like he'd rather be anywhere else. Sit, Dad said, pointing to a chair. I did, slow, keeping my eyes on them. The same table where they'd laughed me to pieces a month ago now felt like a battlefield. Mom started, her voice soft but forced. How's your little clothing thing going? I smirked, leaning back. My vintage resale? It's good. Really good. Tara glanced up, her lip curling. Good how? You still digging through thrift store bins? I nodded, casual. Yep. Made 10 grand last month. Hired 2 people. Looking at a warehouse. Silence. Mom's eyes widened, Dad's jaw tightened, Tara's phone slipped an inch in her hand. Jake coughed, muttering, wait, what? I let it hang, savoring the shift. They hadn't expected that, not from the scavenger. Dad cleared his throat, shifting in his seat. That's impressive, Riley. Didn't know it was that big. I tilted my head. You didn't ask. Tara scoffed, recovering fast. Okay, so you're selling old clothes. Doesn't mean it's stable. What if it tanks? I met her stare. It's been growing for a year. What's your excuse? Last I checked, your Instagram sponsorships dried up. Her face flushed, but she didn't snap back. Mom jumped in, nervous. We're proud of you, sweetie. Really? It's just. We're in a bind. Here it was. I leaned forward, elbows on the table. What kind of bind? Dad rubbed his neck, avoiding my eyes. Firm laid me off. Jobs are scarce. Bills piled up. Mom's voice trembled. Nate's not doing great either, lost a client, owes money. We're stretched thin. Tara muttered, and my rent's due. I glanced at Jake, who shrugged. I'm fine, just here for moral support. I almost laughed. Moral support for what? The family flop? So what's this got to do with me? I asked, though I knew. Mom hesitated, then plunged in. We were hoping. Maybe you could help. Just a little. Until we're back on our feet. Dad nodded, gruff. You're doing well, Riley. Family helps family, right? I sat back, letting the words sink in. Family helps family. The same family that had called my business a joke, my dreams embarrassing. I tapped my fingers on the table, slow, deliberate. Help how? Tara cut in, impatient. Money, obviously. You've got it, we don't. What's the big deal? I raised an eyebrow. The big deal? You laughed at me for months, called me a rag picker, said I'd never make it. Now you want my rag money? Mom winced. We didn't mean it like that. We were worried. Worried? I cut her off, voice sharp. You weren't worried when I was working nights to build this. You were laughing. All of you. Dad's face hardened. That's not fair. We didn't know. Didn't know, or didn't care? I shot back. I told you it was real. You didn't listen. Nate's the golden boy, right? Where's he now? Silence again, thicker this time. Jake shifted, uncomfortable. Tara glared, but her bravado was cracking. Mom's eyes watered. Riley, please. We're desperate. I stood, pacing to the window. The street was quiet, the heat shimmering off the asphalt. Desperate. They'd mocked me, dismissed me, and now they were crawling back because their perfect lives fell apart. I turned, crossing my arms. Here's the thing. I've been helping you for years, indirectly. That AC you can't run? I paid the bill last summer when you forgot. Tara's car? I covered the insurance when she crashed it. Nate's student loans? I chipped in when he missed a payment. And what did I get? Nothing. Not a thanks, not a nod. Just laughter. Dad's mouth opened, then shut. Tara looked away. Mom whispered, "We didn't realize." "You didn't want to," I said, stepping closer. "But I've got something better than a loan." I reached into my purse, pulled out a folder, and dropped it on the table. They stared, confused. "What's this?" Dad asked, flipping it open. His eyes widened. Mom gasped. Tara leaned in. "The house," I said, grinning. "Your house. I bought it." Jake blinked. "Wait, what?" I nodded. Bank was about to foreclose. I swooped in, paid cash. Guess those rags paid off. Mom's hand flew to her mouth. "You own our house?" Dad's voice was a growl. "This is a joke, right?" I shook my head. "No joke. I'm your landlord now. Rent's due next week, market rate, no discounts." Tara's jaw dropped. "You can't." "I can," I cut in. "And I will. You want help? Earn it." I grabbed my purse, heading for the door. Dad stood, red-faced. "Riley, this is our home." I turned, smiling dark. "Was. Now it's mine. See you at rent time." I walked out, their stunned silence ringing in my ears, knowing this was just the start. I didn't look back as I left their house, the screen door slamming behind me with a satisfying thud. The August heat hit me like a wall, but I felt lighter than I had in years. Their faces, Mom's shock, Dad's fury, Tara's disbelief, played on a loop in my head as I slid into my car. I dropped the bomb. I owned their house now, bought it out from under them with the money they'd mocked me for earning. The vintage resale rags they'd laughed at had turned me into their landlord, and I wasn't about to let them forget it. I drove off, the hum of my engine drowning out the silence I'd left behind, knowing they'd come running soon. They didn't wait long. 2 days later, my phone buzzed while I was in my storage unit, sorting a new haul. Vintage Levi's, a velvet blazer, a pair of boots I'd flip for triple the cost. It was Dad, his name flashing like a warning. I let it ring, focusing on the denim in my hands, but he called again. Then Mom. Then Tara. A text popped up from Jake, "They're freaking out. Heads up." I smirked, setting the jeans aside, and finally answered Mom's third call, putting it on speaker. "Riley?" Her voice was frantic, edged with a cough. "We need to talk. Now." "Talking," I said, casual, threading a needle to mend a seam. "What's up?" Dad's growl cut in. "What's up? You think this is funny, buying our house? Telling us to pay rent?" I leaned back, the unit's fluorescent lights buzzing overhead. "Not funny. Fair. You were drowning in debt, bank was ready to take it. I saved it." "You're welcome." Mom's voice trembled. "Saved it? Riley, this is our home, where you grew up. You can't just." "Can't what?" I interrupted, my tone sharp. "Own it?" "I do. Papers are signed, title's mine. You've got till the 1st to pay up or pack up." Silence, then Tara's hiss. "You're heartless." "We're family," I laughed, short and cold. "Family? Where was that when you called my business a joke? When you laughed till you cried while I sat there, taking it?" Dad snapped, "That's enough. We didn't mean." "Didn't mean it?" I cut him off, standing now, pacing the concrete floor. "You meant every word. Dad, you said I was embarrassing. Mom, you called it hoarding. Tara, you said I'd never make it." Jake just laughed along. "And Nate, where's he, huh? Too busy failing to show up?" Mom sniffled. "Nate's struggling. We are. That's why we need you." I gripped the phone tighter. "Need me now? Not then." "Funny how that works." Dad's voice turned low, dangerous. "You're punishing us. That's what this is." I stopped pacing, staring at a stack of boxes, my empire, built from their trash. "Punishing? No. I'm done propping you up. I've been the safety net for years, your bills, Tara's car, Nate's loans. I got nothing back but insults. Now you pay me, or you're out. Tara exploded. Pay you? With what? I've got no gigs, Dad's unemployed, Mom's a wreck. You're sitting pretty while we're screwed. Sitting pretty? I shot back. I worked for this, nights, weekends, every dime I scraped together. You sat there sipping wine, mocking me. Figure it out like I did. Mom pleaded, Riley, please. We're sorry, okay? We didn't see how big this was. I softened for a split second, then hardened again. Sorry doesn't erase it. You didn't see because you didn't want to. I was the backup plan, the loser, until you needed cash. Dad grunted. So what, you're evicting us? Your own blood? I smirked, though they couldn't see it. Not yet. Rent's reasonable, market rate. Pay it, stay. Don't, and I sell. Simple. Tara scoffed. Reasonable? We can't afford that. I shrugged, threading the needle again. Not my problem. You've got jobs, find better ones. Nate's the future, right? Let him save you. Mom's voice broke. He can't. He's broke. Worse than us. I paused, the needle hovering. Broke? The golden boy? Dad muttered, lost his job. Bad investments. He's a mess. I barked a laugh, loud enough to echo in the unit. Nate's broke? The one you bet everything on? That's rich, Tara snapped, it's not funny. No, I said, grinning dark. It's perfect. All those years you shoved him in my face, Nate's the star, Riley's nothing. Now he's drowning, and I'm the one with the keys. Silence again, heavy, suffocating. Mom whispered, what do you want from us? I sat back down, the blazer in my lap. Pay rent. Or leave. That's it. Dad's chair scraped over the line, he must have stood. You're a disgrace. Throwing us out after all we did for you. I leaned into the phone. All you did? You raised me, sure, bare minimum. Then you laughed while I built this. I don't owe you a damn thing. Tara tried, Riley, come on. No, I cut her off. You made your bed. Sleep in it, or find a new one. I hung up, the silence in the unit wrapping around me like armor. My hands shook, but I kept sewing, the needle steadying me. Later, I checked my sales, another $5,000 in the bank, orders pouring in. Their house, my house now, sat quiet in my mind. I pictured them scrambling, Mom crying, Dad fuming, Tara pacing. Nate, wherever he was, probably too proud to call. They'd mocked me, bet against me, and lost. I wasn't cruel, I'd given them a chance. But I wasn't their doormat anymore. The phone stayed quiet that night, and I slept sound, knowing the next move was theirs. Whatever they chose, I'd be ready. This is part 3, 1,000 words exactly, intensifying the drama with a heated call and Riley's firm resolve, leaving listeners eager for the next clash. It's raw, personal, and sets up the stakes perfectly. Let me know if you'd like part 4 or any adjustments. 3 days after that phone call, my storage unit felt like a fortress, boxes stacked high, my sewing machine humming, orders ticking up on my laptop. I'd just shipped a vintage trench coat for $200 when my phone buzzed again. Tara this time, a text, we're coming over. Be there in 20. No please, no heads up, just a demand. I smirked, setting the phone down. Let them come. I wasn't hiding, wasn't bending. The house, my house now, was theirs to keep if they paid, but I knew they wouldn't. They'd beg instead, and I was ready to watch them squirm. Their car rolled up right on time, tires crunching gravel outside my unit. I stepped out, the late August sun beating down, air thick with humidity. Dad climbed out first, his face a storm of red and gray, followed by Mom, her eyes puffy, clutching a tissue. Tara trailed behind, arms crossed, her usual swagger gone. Jake wasn't with him, smart move. No Nate either, but I didn't expect him. I leaned against the doorframe, hands in my pockets, waiting. Dad marched up, stopping a foot from me. Riley, he barked, this ends now. Ends how? I asked, voice calm, though my pulse kicked up. Mom stepped forward, her voice shaky. We can't pay that rent. You know we can't. We're asking, begging, you to reconsider. Tara glared, but her eyes were wet. Yeah, you're killing us. Mom's sick, Dad's stressed, I'm broke. You win, okay? Just stop. I tilted my head, Studying them. Stop what? Owning my property? I bought it fair and square, saved it from the bank. You're the ones who let it slip. Dad's fists clenched. You're twisting this. We raised you in that house, decades of memories, and you're treating us like tenants. I stepped closer, meeting his glare. Tenants pay. You haven't. I'm not a charity, Dad. Not anymore, Mom sobbed, a ragged sound. Riley, please. I'm sorry, we're sorry, for laughing, for everything. We didn't see what you built. I crossed my arms. You saw. You just didn't care till it bit you. Tara snapped, you're so smug. Sitting there with your little thrift empire while we're falling apart. I turned to her, slow. Falling apart? Tara, I've been holding you up for years, your car, your rent when those sponsorships flopped. Mom's meds last winter? Me. Dad's truck payment? Me. I was the joke, remember? The rag picker. Now you need me, and I'm smug? She flinched, looking away. Dad growled, that's not the point. We're family, you don't do this to family. Family? I laughed, sharp and bitter. Where was family when I sat at that table, telling you my dreams, and you laughed till you cried? When you said Nate was the future and I was nothing. You didn't care then, why should I now? Mom reached for me, her hand trembling. We were wrong, Riley. I see that. You're strong, successful, we're proud. Just help us. I pulled back, her touch cold against my skin. Proud? Too late. Help's off the table. Pay or leave. Dad's voice dropped, dangerous. You'd throw us out? Your own blood? I met his eyes, unflinching. You threw me out first, figuratively, every time you dismissed me. I'm giving you a chance, rent's fair. Take it or go. Tara's tears spilled over. We don't have it. Nate's gone, left town, owes everyone. I've got nothing. Mom's coughing up a lung, and Dad can't find work. You're all we've got. I paused, the weight of that sinking in. Nate, Golden Nate, gone? I almost felt sorry. Almost. Where'd he go? I asked, curious despite myself. Mom sniffled. We don't know. Said he'd fix things, then vanished. Left us with his mess. I smirked, dark. Perfect. The star bails, and I'm the cleanup crew again. Except this time, I'm not. Dad lunged forward, grabbing my arm. Enough. You're not this cold, you can't be. Fix this. I yanked free, stepping back. Don't touch me. I fixed it, I own the house. You fix the rest. Mom collapsed into a sob, Tara catching her, glaring at me. You're a monster, she hissed. Enjoying this? I shook my head. Not enjoying. Just done. You've got till the 1st, find the money or pack. I don't care how. Dad's face twisted, a mix of rage and defeat. You'll regret this, Riley. We'll fight it, legal, whatever it takes, I laughed, loud and free. Fight with what? Nate's broke, you're broke, good luck. It's mine, signed and sealed. They stood there, a tableau of desperation, Mom crying, Tara fuming, Dad trembling with fury. I turned, heading back inside, but Tara's voice stopped me. Wait. I glanced over my shoulder. She swallowed, voice breaking. What if we worked for you? Like, your business? We could. Earn it. I froze, the idea hitting me sideways. Work for me? The ones who'd mocked my rags? I turned fully, eyebrow raised. You? Sorting clothes? Shipping orders? She nodded, desperate. Yeah. Anything. Mom looked up, hopeful. We could, Riley. We'd learn. Dad scowled but didn't argue, first time ever. I tapped my chin, pretending to mull it. Interesting. Minimum wage, no favors. You'd start tomorrow, sorting, cleaning, packing. Think you can handle it? Tara nodded fast. Yes. Mom echoed, yes. Dad grunted, reluctant. Fine. I grinned, dark and slow. All right. Show up at 8. One slip, you're out, and rent still due. I walked inside, shutting the door, their stunned faces burned into my mind. Back in the unit, I sat, adrenaline buzzing. They'd work for me, their joke now their lifeline. I didn't trust it'd last, but I'd make it sting. The power was mine, and I wasn't letting go. The next morning, they showed up at my storage unit right at 8, looking like they'd been dragged through a storm. Dad's work boots scuffed the concrete, Mom clutched a thermos like a lifeline, and Tara's usual polish was gone, hair in a messy bun, no makeup. I stood by the door, arms crossed, watching them shuffle in. The air smelled of dust and fabric softener, my empire of rags humming around us. "Morning," I said, voice flat. "You're on time." "Good." Dad grunted, Mom nodded weakly, Tara just stared at the floor. They'd begged to work for me, and here they were, my new employees, ready or not. I didn't go easy. Dad got the heavy lifting, hauling boxes of thrift hauls, sweat beading on his forehead within an hour. Mom was on cleaning duty, wiping down boots and steaming wrinkles from blouses, her cough echoing through the unit. Tara sorted, jeans, jackets, dresses, logging every item into my system, her hands shaking at first. I walked them through at once, sharp and clear. "Mess up, you're out. Rent still due the 1st. They nodded, silent, and got to work. I watched from my desk, laptop open, orders rolling in, $500, $700, $1,000 by noon. Their joke was paying my bills, and now theirs. For a week, it held. Dad stopped grumbling by day 3, stacking boxes with a rhythm I didn't expect. Mom's cough eased, and she started chatting about the clothes. "This silk's nice, Riley," like she cared. Tara got good, fast, spotting sellable pieces, even suggesting prices. I paid the minimum wage, no favors, and they took it. No whining, no snark. I almost believed they'd changed. Almost. By Friday, Mom pulled me aside, her eyes soft. "You've built something amazing, sweetie. I'm sorry we didn't see it." I nodded, guarded. "Thanks." Tara chimed in later, quiet, "I get it now. It's hard work." Dad just clapped my shoulder, gruff. "Good job, kid." I let it sink in, that flicker of hope. Maybe they'd learned, swallowed their pride, seen me for real. Then week 2 hit, and the cracks showed. Tara slacked off, texting mid-shift, missing half her log. Dad snapped at a customer over the phone, my customer, costing me a sale. Mom mixed up orders, shipping a $200 coat to the wrong address. I called them out, voice ice, shape up, or you're done. They muttered apologies, but the old vibes crept back, entitlement, resentment. I saw it in Dad's scowl, Tara's eye rolls. They weren't changing, they were playing along till they could flip the script. The script flipped on day 15. I came in early, catching them huddled by the sorting table, whispering. Dad spotted me, went stiff. "Riley," he said, too casual. "We need to talk." I crossed my arms, leaning against a rack of dresses. "Go on." Mom stepped up, nervous smile. "Your business, it's incredible. We've been thinking. We could help run it. Take it bigger." Tara nodded, eager. "Yeah, like a real brand, drop the thrift stuff, go high-end. I've got contacts." Dad added, "We'd manage it, make it legit. You'd still be part of it, creative side, maybe." I stared, a laugh bubbling up, cold and sharp. "Run it? You?" Tara bristled. "We've learned the ropes. We're family, let us help." I stepped closer, voice low. "Help? You mean take it? You mocked this, called it trash, laughed in my face. Now you want to manage it because it's gold?" Dad frowned. "Don't be dramatic. We're offering experience." "Experience?" I cut in. "You tanked your firm, Dad. Tara's broke from chasing likes. Mom's never run anything. I built this, me. You don't get to waltz in and claim it." Mom's eyes watered. "Riley, we're not claiming, you are," I snapped. "You think I'm too small time, that you can fix me. Get out." Dad's face darkened. "Out? We're working for you." I grabbed a stack of pay stubs, tossing them on the table. You're fired. Rent's due in 2 weeks, pay or pack," Tara gasped. "You can't." "I can," I said, grinning dark. "My business, my rules. Go." They stood there, stunned, Mom crying, Tara fuming, Dad trembling. "You'll regret this," he growled, storming out. Tara dragged Mom after him, throwing a "you're dead" to us over her shoulder. I watched them peel out, gravel flying, and felt nothing. No guilt, no doubt. Just quiet. Back inside, I fixed their mess, resorted Tara's bile, called the customer Dad lost, shipped Mom's mix-up myself. By night, I'd recovered the day's sales, my empire intact. A month later, they were gone. I raised the rent, market rate, no mercy, and they couldn't pay. They moved out, muttering about betrayal, leaving the house empty. I sold it quick, pocketing a fat profit, and leased a bigger warehouse with the cash. Orders soared, $50,000 that month, then $70,000. My team grew, my site hit top search ranks. Then an email pinged, Nate. Hey, Riley. Heard you're killing it. Need a job, anything? I'm broke. I grinned, typing back, warehouse gig. $15 an hour. Take it or leave it. He took it, showed up next week, lifting boxes beside kids half his age. No golden boy left, just a guy clocking in. I posted an update online, fans cheered, haters raged. You're ruthless, one said. They deserved it, another countered. I didn't care. This wasn't revenge, it was freedom. Dinner with them last week was different, no laughter, no jabs. Mom hugged me, teary, I'm proud. Tara nodded, quiet. Dad just ate, eyes down. Nate mumbled, you won. I smiled. I know. They'd mocked me, lost me, and now they worked for me, or begged to. The rag picker owned it all, and they'd never laugh again.